But I actually have a, like, coffee shop story. Like, I know this game's, like, about a potential stalker, but I actually have a coffee shop stalker story. I don't know if I should tell it now or later, but we'll just go in. I'll tell it really quick then. Okay. So I was visiting my grandparents' house, right? And I was there, I stayed overnight. And then my grandparents, they live like over an hour from where I was living at the time, right? I leave in the morning. I go to a Starbucks because it's early. It's a far drive. I wanted to fucking get a Starbucks. I wanted to get a Java chip Frappuccino from Starbucks. So I go to the Starbucks. I walk in, you know, it's like early morning-ish. You know, there's people with their dog. There's a man reading a book outside. I walk in. First of all, I order it on my phone, on mobile, because I ain't fucking talking to nobody. I prefer little to very little human interaction as possible. I use it on the app. I buy my drink. I go inside, pick it up. I leave. I go into my car, and I drive home. And like I said, the Starbucks was like 20-ish minutes away from where I was living at the time. And, you know, I put my headphones on. I have like my kitty accent wear headphones. I just go in and out, get my drink, and I leave. I drive home to my house. And where like, cause it's like an apartment complex there's like multiple people living with me. So, you know, more people have more cars. So sometimes I have to park on the street. I park on the street, right? And I notice this car pulls up behind me, and like they're in the red zone. And I was like, okay. So, you know, there are a lot of people who park on the street when I lived at that place. So I kind of thought that, oh, maybe they just didn't give a shit and they need parking, whatever. I get out of the car, and then the person who parked behind me gets out of the car too. And it's some probably early 30s, I don't know, kind of dude. And he's like, hey. And I'm like, hi. He's like, hey, I saw you at the Starbucks. I wanted to ask for your number, and I didn't want to let this opportunity go away. This man followed me from the Starbucks 20 minutes away from my house. Followed me all the way to my apartment to ask for my phone number. Yes, it could have been very... No, I didn't. Like, literally, what I did was I freaked... This is where my stupidity came in. I should have been a lot smarter about this, but as I get really nervous. I was very anxious. I flipped the fuck out. I said, no, I'm okay. What did I do? Guess what stupid shit I did? Guess what I did? I ran into my apartment. The worst fucking decision you could do. Listen to me. This is a PSA. First of all, pay attention to your surroundings. Don't be like me. Don't put on your headphones. Don't put on your headphones when you're alone. Just keep one off. Pay attention to your surroundings, because someone could be following you and you wouldn't know. And I was oblivious. I didn't notice this man got up and went to his car when I did. I did not notice this man followed me for 20 minutes all the way back to my house. And I know it is scary. You know, human error is a thing. You know, when you're anxious and you're scared and your fight or flight kicks in, sometimes you don't always have the time to think of the best option. So that is why it is good to, you know, think of a plan. If that ever happens to you, get back in your car, go drive to the police station and call the police. Drive to the police station. If someone is ever following you, if you notice them, just drive straight to the police station, because they will leave and they will not follow you there. But what I did... I stupidly I ran into my apartment. I locked the door, and I just kept looking at the pee hole. And then I noticed this man was walking to my apartment door. And I was like on the verge of like fucking crying. I was way too scared. And I saw that he was like, you know, with his head like scratching the back of his head, probably debating whether or not to knock. But then I noticed he left. And, you know, my mom lived around, so she called me. She's like, oh, are you home yet? And I was like, hey, Mom, someone followed me home from the coffee shop, And my mother was just cussing me out in Spanish. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you fucking serious? That man could have killed you. Why didn't you call the cops? And I was like, listen, Mom, I was really scared. My mom was furious. She was like cussing me all of the way. No, but yeah, my mom was just blowing my head off. Every curse word in Spanish, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Which, I mean, true. If someone's following you, don't walk in your house. Don't do that. But, yeah, my mom was saying, when my mom was like, call the fucking police. Are you serious? So I'm like, okay, Mom, okay. I called the cops. Little did I know, she was already faster than me. As soon as she got off the phone, she already called the cops. So by the time the cop got to me, they were like, oh, did your mom just call? I'm like, yeah. But yeah, I told them what the guy looked like. I told them what the car looked like. And, you know, the cops didn't do much at the time because nothing happened to me. And they're like, okay, if they come by again, call us. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, you know, my mom was ready to whoop me with that chancla. She was ready. But, yeah. I thought that's why I was like, why not play the closing shift? Because I got a kind of story with some learning moments. If someone's following you and you're in your car, drive straight to the police. If you're out of your car, do not go to like the office of where you live or someone else's apartment that is not yours so they do not know where you live. Or like call the police right there. Just like be like, if you don't fucking leave, I'm gonna call the cops. But yeah. I don't know. I just thought it would have, yeah. Thought it would have been an interesting story to share. So, yeah, that shit happens in real life. What is the chancla? It's the slipper. It's what my mother uses to beat me with. Yo, when I was a kid, my mom would, like, wash my mouth with soap. Like, does that happen to anyone these days? Like, for real, though. Imagine a Mexican mom will curse the fuck out of you. And see, yeah, exactly. My mom will scream at me. Like, scream my head off, and then after she'll be like, ay, pobrecita, mi chiquita, and like, just be like, oh, baby, what if something happened to you? Like, first she'll be screaming at you, and then she'll be like, oh, my baby, mi pobrecita, like, after the fact. Like, Jesus Christ.
Okay, but that's enough of my talking. I don't know where I go. Okay.